मङ्गलं कौसलेन्द्राय महनीयगुणात्मने चक्रवर्तितनूजाय सार्वभौमाय मङ्गलम्. The last class we studied up to Rama's obtaining blessings from Brahmins, elders, and other devoted and faithful servants. So Rama had given away all his possessions, all his wealth, and also Mother Sita, also Lakshmana. He did not want to keep any of these things, though after 14 years he is going to come back. Now let me keep all these things for myself. Again after 14 years I will come back to Ayodhya city, so I can enjoy these things then. No such thing, no idea of that possession. So he had given away all his possessions, and Lakshmana and Sita also did the same thing. Now they want to see their father Dasharatha before they leave for the forest. So three of them, Rama, Lakshmana and Mother Sita, they set out to visit to see Dasharatha. Normally the practice was that they would go on a chariot, but this time they made up their mind they have to go to the forest, and no chariots were used, no retinue servants, no soldiers around. Three of them just walked towards Dasharatha's chamber palace. The streets of Ayodhya were crowded with people on both sides, weeping and wailing. So they were saying so many things. A goblin possessed our Dasharatha. Otherwise, why a father would banish such a noble son to the forest? The people were shedding tears. People were experiencing torment like aquatic animals in a lake. In summer, as the lake would get dry up, the animals would live in fear, right? They would experience a lot of torment because the lake would get dried up because of evaporation of water. In the same way, the people of Ayodhya were experiencing the torment because they would be separated from Rama for 14 years. That was very difficult for them to bear. They were all talking among themselves, let us also go to the forest along with Rama. We will not be worshipping gods in Ayodhya, no worship gods, no people, no houses. Every one of us, let us go with Rama to the forest. So let us vacate our houses. Then rats actually will enter into our homes. They will have a field day. They will destroy everything. So Mother Kaikeyi will rule an empty city, Ayodhya, without people. We shall convert this city of Ayodhya into a forest. When you go to the forest, all the forest animals, seeing all of us, will run away. They will seek shelter. Where they will go? All those animals will come into the city of Ayodhya. We shall go and occupy their habitat, their place, the forest, because Rama is going to the forest. All the animals in the forest will run away from the forest and come back to Ayodhya city, and they live here. And Kaikeyi will rule a city infested with beasts and animals. So, but Rama was hearing all this nonchalantly, but he did not express any emotion. He was just cheerful and laughing. He reached Dasharatha's palace, went to the entrance of the chambers, Sumantra was there. Rama told him, please tell my father that I am ready to go to the forest and we seek his audience. Sumantra went inside the chambers, told this to Dasharatha, but he did not sing the normal panegyric. All the people and servants, when they would go to the king, they would sing their praises, but this time he didn't sing. He just said, Jai Bhava, Vijay Bhava, to the king, to Dasharatha. Then he told what Rama asked him to tell, that Rama actually wants to see you, king. Then Dasharatha said, please send a word to all the queens, let them come to my chambers. Then they all came along with their maids, in all nearly 300 of them, all the 3 queens and their retinue of servants, and all the people in the women in the palace. Dasharatha tried to reach Rama, but he could not. He fell down, he swooned. Rama lifted him up. I'm just telling you the storyline because Ramayana is too long a story, If I pick up isolated incidents, you may miss this storyline. That's why I'm just trying to connect the dots. Rama said this to Dasharatha, please permit me to go to the forest. And Sita also Lakshmana wants to come with me. I tried to dissuade them, but they were not listening. They wanted to follow me to the forest. We are your citizens. Please allow us, please permit us to go to the forest. Now you just see what Dasharatha is telling. You see, I had promised these boons long ago to your mother Kaikeyi, but she sought these boons now. So there was a conspiracy. And this is only to torment me and to trouble you, that she sought these boons now. So Kaikeyi sought these boons now. Definitely there was, malice in her seeking the boons now. So you don't have to go to the forest. Please disobey my command. Now Dasharatha is telling. He is not telling Rama, please follow my command. He is telling him, please disobey my command and seize the sovereignty of this kingdom by force. You have the capacity. Disobey my command. Don't go to the forest. Where his affection for Rama is making me say all these things. Rama understands his sentiments, understands his pain, understands his anguish. He understands the kind of attachment and that he has for Rama. Oh no, my father, you have to stay here. You have to rule this kingdom for many more years. Don't become a man of untruth because of your affection for me. I understand your affection for me. Please keep the word that you have given to your mother. You should not go back on your word. So keep this. I will come back after my exile. These 14 years will pass like just a moment. So don't think actually 14 years is too long a period. How I can live without Rama for such a long period of time. Don't have this thought in mind. These 14 years will pass like just a moment and I will come back. I will complete my exile. This Rama was trying to console Dasharatha. Dasharatha is telling now, oh my dear son, I know that nobody can change your resolve now. It is not possible for anybody else actually to make this kind of sacrifice. Giving up all comforts for my sake, to make me a Satyavadi, to make me a man of truth, you are making this sacrifice. There is nobody like you, Rama, in this world. You are the greatest in the lineage of Ikshvaku, in Raghuvamsha. You are the greatest among all the kings in Raghuvamsha. Dasharatha is not saying that I am the greatest. Rama has not been coronated yet, but you are the best in the lineage. He is saying that because nobody can make this kind of sacrifice. If you just see in this country and this culture, today our topic is actually a competition in sacrifice. A competition in sacrifice. Not a competition in amassing wealth, not a competition not to acquire a position of power. A competition to give up. You just see Rama kind of sacrifice. Of course, he made ultimate sacrifice. Man of supreme renunciation. You just see Lakshmana, for brother's sake. He had his wife Urmila, he had his mother Sumitra, but no, he had given them up to just serve his brother. See the sacrifice of Bharata, see the sacrifice of Mother Sita, see the sacrifice of Sumantra. Except Mother Kaikeyi, everybody else, they weren't just in competition. with each other just to make their lives a sacrifice. So the message that comes to us through Ramayana, to all the scriptures in this culture is give up and become immortal. Give up and become immortal. Take only as much as that is necessary to keep the body going, as much as that is necessary to support the body. Whatever you accumulate beyond that is all a kind of bondage. Seek knowledge, have passion for dharma. Seek knowledge, have passion for dharma. Through dharma, you will attain immortality. But we have forgotten this message. If you just see our society today, a few people are practicing here and there, but majority of the people have forgotten this. Rama, did he covet that throne? If he had coveted, he would have definitely done some violence, right? He had the power, he had the capacity, he had the valor and prowess to seize the throne by force. But he didn't do that. How gentle, how soft, how kind, how self-sacrificing he was. Our hero, national hero, our God, Rama. Are we following Rama's footsteps? We have to ask ourselves this question. How much of Rama's spirit has entered into us? That is the way to worship Rama. Right? That's how actually you need to worship Rama. And Rama is telling Dasharatha now, oh my father, I have no desire. I don't even care for Sita. You may be thinking that I have an idea to possess Sita. I don't have even that kind of desire. Absolutely, I have no desire. But you must be a man of truth. You must not give up truth. Don't worry about me. I will come back after 14 years. But you should not grieve like that. Because of your inordinate affection for me, attachment to me, you are grieving. But this is not the time to grieve like this. Because you have to console mothers. You have to console the people of Ayodhya. That is your responsibility as a king. If king himself is grief-stricken and crestfallen, who else will console the people? If king himself becomes, weak, who else will console other people? No, this is not the time for my father. Muster courage. Muster courage. Keep the grief for yourself. Don't express it like this. But it's too difficult for Dasharatha. How much he loved Rama. He loved Rama more than he loved his own life. It's a fact. We all know. Dasharatha would not care to give up his own life. But now much beloved Rama is going to the forest. How he will fare there, how he will do there, how he will survive there, what he will eat, how he will clothe himself, where he will live, how he will protect himself from sun and rain. My dear child, brought up in such luxury and comfort, will he be able to withstand the rigors of forest life? All these thoughts as a father he had, Mother Kausalya had. So naturally he was weeping and wailing. Dasharatha embraced Rama. Again actually swooned. Except Kaikeyi, everybody wept and wept. That chamber became actually Rodha Gruha, a chamber of wailing and weeping. Everybody around was weeping and weeping and weeping because they all loved Rama so dearly. The entire city of Ayodhya fell into grief. Except Mother Kaikeyi, everybody was weeping. Then Sumantra now started indicting Kaikeyi, because of you, everybody is suffering. What you will do with that kingdom? What you will do with the city of Ayodhya? What you will do with this throne when nobody likes you? Why you want to rule people when they don't want you, they don't like you? So this is not the way to behave. She was trying to tell her, but of course, Mother Kaikeyi was very, very adamant, and she wanted to protect herself, her son, and wanted to give the throne to Bharata. The Dasharatha is telling, O Sumantra, please arrange nice grains, cartloads of grains, servants, singers, dancers, to entertain my dear son Rama in the forest. So the father actually, he wanted to give some comfort, provide for Rama's, comfortable stay in the forest. But immediately Mother Kaikeyi said, if you all these things, if you send away to the forest, what will be left for my son Bharata? Rama actually should wear what? Bark garments. And we should live on fruits and bulbs and roots. If you send all these things, luxurious things to him, and what kind of exile that is? So she objected to him. And how he should be sent away? She said like that, Asamanjasa. In our own lineage, there was a king in the past by name Asamanjasa. Rama should be exiled like that Asamanjasa. Immediately Dasharatha said, Dik, O unto you, O Kaikeyi, O sinful woman. O unto you, O sinful woman. You are a woman of sin, Papa. You are comparing Rama with that Asamanjasa. In the meanwhile, a minister by name Siddhartha, he intervened saying, don't say that. Asamanjasa was exiled for a completely different reason. He was the son of Sagara. You know Sagaraputra. He was Sagaraputra. What he would do, he would actually take children into his hands and will throw them into Sarayu river. A sadistic kind of person. So all the people in Ayodhya city went to Sagara, the then king, and requested him, if this Asamanjasa lives in the city of Ayodhya, we will leave Ayodhya. What he is doing, you see? You will catch hold of our children and you will throw them into the river. This is the kind of man that you have begotten. So in those days, kings were very impartial. Even if it is their own son, if he does something, which is not righteous, which is against the law of the land, they would punish them. So Sagara banished him from the kingdom. And now Mother Kaikeyi is comparing that Rama also should be exiled like Asamanjasa. Then Minister Siddhartha is telling, Asamanjasa was exiled for a different reason. And Dasharatha felt a lot of pain because of this. Vashishta also indicates Kaikeyi, this is not the way a queen mother should behave. But of course, it's too late and Kaikeyi is not in a position to listen. Now Rama asked King Sumantra to bring a chariot. A chariot was brought. But all the elephants also trumpeted in pain, not in joy. They trumpeted in pain. Horses tied to the chariots also did not want to move out of Ayodhya. The horses, they don't want to take Rama away from city of Ayodhya, because seeing the grief of all the people, even the animals, horses also could understand that what happened. Sometimes we think that these animals, they don't have a communication, they don't understand anything. But the animals, particularly horses, sensed what is going to happen, what all actually is happening around. And they just moved only in Ayodhya city. They don't want to leave the city of Ayodhya. And then old people, all the people started following Rama. Rama tried to tell them, actually, you don't follow me. Bharata will become your king. You just actually extend the same kind of support to Bharata. And don't hate him. Rama, you just see, he is going to the forest. He should be in distress, but actually wants to provide some comfort, for the next person, Bharata. And because you don't blame Bharata, that don't think that actually Bharata is responsible for my exile. Love Bharata, give same respect to Bharata. He will take care of you. You don't worry. You don't worry. I will be happy if you do my bidding. Bharata will make you happy. Don't grieve because of me. I will complete my exile and I will come back. Show your affection to Bharata, Rama is telling. So, but these people, they don't want to stay in the city of Ayodhya. Many of them started following Rama's chariot. Sumantra consoled one final time Mother Kausalya. Now Rama is started for the forest. All the people also wanted to follow the chariot. Rama could convince the other people, men and people like Dasharatha and elders, but these people, many Brahmins, women, children, all started following the chariot. He tried his best to dissuade them, stay back in Ayodhya, I'm going to the forest. I'll complete my exile and I'll come back and I'll rule you. And don't worry, don't grieve for me. But they fell in such love with Rama, and they thought actually it would be impossible to live in Ayodhya city without Rama. Rama was their sun, not the sun in the sky. They would only see the Rama's face and then actually conduct their affairs of the day. That was the kind of affection they had for Rama. But they didn't listen and they started following him. Many Brahmins started following the chariot and they started requesting Sumantra. And then when it fell on deaf ears, then they started requesting the horses directly. This Sumantra won't listen to us because he is under instructions from Rama. So he is driving the chariot very fast. Oh horses, please listen to us. Don't run that fast. Go slow, go slow. So all these people started imploring the horses. The horses actually slowed down. They did not take instructions from Sumantra because they were all following, they were all coming. And then Rama, seeing all the people coming on foot following him, he came down the chariot and he also started walking into the forest. He could not bear to see so many people walking on foot, and so that he doesn't want to travel in chariot, he comes down from the chariot and he also started walking on foot. Well, the Brahmins started telling, how can we perform sacrifices in Ayodhya without you? We are coming with you, and along with us, the Vedas that we hold also come into the forest. So we will do sacrifices in the forest. We bring all our parasols, the white umbrellas, We will hold these umbrellas over you, Rama, and we will protect you from rain and the sunshine, the forest. So many people, so many people. Now they reach Tamasa river. So they camped for that night on the bank of this river Tamasa. Now Rama was thinking how to send these people back. How to go to the forest with these thousands and thousands of people where they will get food and they will suffer a lot. So we have to send them back. They are not listening. They were adamant. Then Rama said to Sumantra, see, we shall go away from this place before sunrise. That is the only way. Okay? Otherwise they will follow us still further into the forest and they will place themselves into difficulty, put themselves into difficulty. So we will cross the river and then afterwards you come back and follow the route to Ayodhya for some time. Again actually you cross the river somewhere in upstream and on the other bank you try to meet us. Because they will follow the wheels of the chariot for some time and they think the chariot has gone in the direction of Ayodhya. You just want to mislead the people. Otherwise they will search right where the chariot has gone. That's how actually Rama wanted to mislead and instruct Sumantra, please help us, please save us, otherwise these people will come with us to the forest. So they will, suffer a lot. Sumantra listened to Rama and said, okay, I will do as you say, the prince. So next day they crossed, before the sunrise, they crossed Tamasa river and Rama actually Sita started walking in the forest, the bank of the Tamasa, and afterwards Sumantra actually rejoined them and they were walking through, they were going through the villages on the chariot. Villages were talking about Rama's vanishment and they were all indicting Dasharatha. Dasharatha lost his brains. So he doesn't know what to do, actually such a noble son he had exiled. So all kinds of things they were saying, Rama just heard and actually moved past through villages. And now, back in Ayodhya, women actually who could not follow the chariot, they were telling these things to themselves. They did not cooperate with their husbands, they did not actually treat their fathers-in-law well because they were in such grief. No food, we are not going to prepare any food for you today, actually we are in distress. A kind of boycott has happened there back home. Only Lakshmana is a noble human being because he is following Rama. All other men who are stayed back in Ayodhya, they are not real human beings. They are not noble human beings according to these women. Only Lakshmana is the noble human being because he has followed Rama. He wanted to serve Rama. We are all held back here in Ayodhya because we don't understand the purpose of life. Such a great man, such a wonderful human being has left us. What is left for us in this city of Ayodhya? Only those waters are sacred where Rama would take his bath. All other waters are not sacred and not auspicious. For Rama, mountains will create lakes for him to take bath. The mountains in the forest will create lakes if there are no lakes. Just for Rama's sake they will do that. That inanimate things also will love him, will respond to him in a positive manner. We too should go to the forest and serve Rama. And then they said that all our punya is exhausted. Why such a fate has fallen over us? Our punya is exhausted. We have to either take poison and die, or we should live under the rule of Kaikeyi, which is very painful and difficult for us. King Dasharatha handed us over to Bharata just as cattle are handed over to a butcher. A very strong statement they made. Okay? Bharata is not such a wild king, a noble prince. But they loved Rama so much. Now they are saying this. King Dasharatha hands us over to Bharata just as cattle are handed over to a butcher. Ayodhya become deserted totally, and with this, it's just actually Ayodhya resembled the sky without stars, no shine, no glory, all glory is lost. They all felt as if they lost their own son, as if their own son has been exiled, because they loved Rama so much and they all considered Rama as their own son. So then Rama and Lakshmana along with Mother Sita came the banks of Gomati and Vedashruti. They crossed these rivers. Rama reached the Kosala's border. A few hours from now actually he will cross the borders of Kosala, and the villages actually encircled Rama. They wanted to have a glimpse of Rama. Rama said, actually waved his hand and asked them to perform their duties, not to grieve for him. And then he turned towards the north, towards the city of Ayodhya, because they are leaving Kosala. And then they said that, O Ayodhya, in whose lap we all are brought up, we will be seeing only after 14 years. You have taken permission from the presiding deities of the city to go to this forest, to come to this forest. We will see you again after 14 years. So we will have your darshan. I mean, the love, and because that is actually the city of their forefathers, right? All the Ikshvaku kings ruled the kingdom of Kosala with Ayodhya as their capital. So the place, the city is so sacred for all the subsequent kings. And for Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata and Shatrughna also the city is so sacred. Rama is imagining, I will be able to see that beautiful city only after 14 years, after my exile is completed. So they are just, because he's leaving the borders of Kosala, they just thought about the city of Ayodhya. Now Rama's chariot reached Mother Ganga, the banks of Mother Ganga. So they came under a tree, banyan tree, and they decided to rest for that night under the tree. And that place is not very far from the capital of Nishada king Guha, Srungaberipuram. So that Nishada king came to know about Rama's banishment, and through his spies he also came to know that Rama actually is camping on the bank of Mother Ganges. Now this Nishada king is a great devotee of Rama. You know, actually all this banishment happened because Rama had to visit all these people, Nishada king, Guha, and then Shabari, then the hermitages of Bharadvaja and other sages, because they had been meditating on the beautiful form of the Lord for many births. And Rama wanted to pay visit to these ashramas and wanted to bless them and wanted to have a conversation with them, because they were all longing for him. It was their longing actually that pulled Rama out of the palace. All these devotees actually were there in the forest. Guha, the great devotee of Rama. And when he heard that Rama actually is camping on the bank of Mother Ganges, he reached Rama on foot along with a retinue of servants and brought nice food for Rama. And then he approached Rama and he said, "O king, O my beloved, we welcome you to our kingdom here. We brought food for you. We are all your servants. Command us. Whatever you say, we will do your bidding. Make use of these servants. We are at your service. We are at your disposal. Who else will get a noble and august guest and king like me today? So this is my good fortune, Rama. Please allow us to play host to you. This kingdom is yours. I put my kingdom at your disposal. You rule it. It is yours." That much of love Guha had for Rama. He was a Nishada king, tribal king. That much of love he had for Rama. Of course, Rama refused politely that food. "See, now I have to live only on fruits, roots and bulbs. I cannot eat dainty dishes. It's prohibited for me, so I can't have this food. I'm sorry. Please don't mind." Rama said to Guha, his beloved devotee, though he wanted to eat, but now actually he's an exile and he had to lead an ascetic life. He can't eat dainty dishes. He refused to touch that food. That he said, "My horses are hungry. My father Dasharatha loves these horses very much. So please provide some green grass for these horses." So Guha gladly arranged the green grass for the horses that brought Rama up to that point in that chariot. So now Guha is saying to Lakshmana, "Nobody is dear to me in this world than Rama. Because of him only I got all my wealth and I got all my fame. Because of his grace only I came to know what is dharma and what is adharma." This is very important. Most of us think that actually we know what is dharma and what is adharma. The first thing is knowing full well that what is dharma and adharma. The second thing is having the strength to practice dharma. Sometimes we know what is dharma, but we don't have the strength to practice dharma. It's not easy to practice dharma. If it is easy, everybody will practice, right? And practice of dharma becomes easy only when you have this fire of renunciation in you. That's what our people tell us, our sages tell us again and again. So renunciation is great wealth. We call actually tapodhanam, tyagadhanam. Through tyaga, that is wealth. Tapodhanam, you accumulate tapodhana, you accumulate tyagadhana. Renunciation is wealth. Why? Renunciation helps you to practice dharma. And through the practice of dharma, you will reach the truth. You will reach God. You will attain God. So this is the land of dharma. So now Guha is telling that, otherwise I would have been totally clouded in my mind. What is dharma, what is adharma? If I don't even know what is dharma and what is adharma, how I will be able to practice it? It's not possible, right? So because of Rama's grace, I came to know what is dharma and what is adharma, and I also have the strength to practice it. So my life can now has become blessed life because of Rama only. So now he is saying that, oh Lakshmana, Rama and Sita were sleeping there on the bare floor and the darba grass. Now Guha is asking him, you are also tired, O Lakshmana, you also can rest. But now Lakshmana is saying that, O Guha, how can I sleep when Rama is sleeping on the bare floor? It was too painful for Lakshmana to see that scene of Rama and Sita sleeping on bare floor. So how it would be possible for me? How I will get sleep? I know that you have the capacity, you have the valor, you have the strength to protect us. Guha said that nobody can face me in this terrain because this is, a well-known terrain for me. And my servants actually will protect you. You also take rest and rest for a while. But Lakshmana refuses to take rest. When my brother is sleeping on the bare floor, how can I sleep? This Rama, whom no god or asura can face, he is today actually, you just see, sleeping on the bare floor. O Guha, our father, Dasharatha, loved my brother, like his own prana. And he had begotten him after much austerity, much tapas, much vows, much sacrifices, after performing a lot of sacrifices, vows, and after giving many gifts actually, my father had begotten my dear brother Rama. So it's not actually simple austerity that he had practiced. So it's not actually just like that he had this kind of son, Rama. So he holds him dearer than his own life. And now he has been separated from my beloved brother. So definitely he won't be able to live long. I'm sure he won't live long. This separation is too much for him to bear, and this pain will make him crumble. He will die for sure. And with the death of Dasharatha, Mother Kausalya also will not live long, and she may also die. She will also die, he's saying that. So, he's saying that his last wish of coronating Rama, to see Rama on the throne of Ayodhya, will not get fulfilled. Of course, it didn't get fulfilled. Dasharatha passed away, we all know that. And by this time, this final departure, we both won't be with him. That means when he passes away, we won't be with him, because he is going to die. And we are such unfortunate children, unfortunate sons of a father, that we won't be able to perform his last rites, his obsequies. We won't be even performing the last rites because we will not be with our father, Dasharatha. That is our fate. Lakshmana is wailing like this, and Guha consoles him. He also shed, tears at their grief of Lakshmana. He embraces him, and then he shed profuse tears because he had no other means to console Lakshmana. Now Rama asks Guha, please arrange a boat for us. We want to cross this river, Mother Ganges. Rama wants Sumantra to go back now. Up to the bank of the Ganges, he was brought on a chariot. Sumantra actually drove the chariot. He was the charioteer. Now Rama is asking, hereafter we will travel on foot. O Sumantra, you go back to the kingdom. Now, you know how many people he had to convince. First actually, Mother Kausalya, then Sita, then Lakshmana, and so many people. Now actually Sumantra. Everybody practically threatened Rama that if you don't listen to you, we will enter into fire. Mother Sita threatened, Lakshmana threatened. We will enter into the fire. Mother Kausalya threatened that I will die without you, Rama. So he had to convince, he had such a tough time. And now actually Sumantra is also saying that, please allow me to serve you. I will be with you. I had helped you, right? So I actually drove the chariot, to mislead people of Ayodhya. And now you must actually have some gratitude for me. You must allow me to stay with you. I will serve you. After this 14 years are over, I will take you back to Ayodhya city in the same chariot. So please allow me to be with you, Rama. Without you, actually, even Ayodhya is like hell for me. With you, actually, any place is okay for me. Without you, even heaven also I don't seek. Heaven also I don't want. Same thing Lakshmana also said. Oh Rama, without you, I don't even need heaven. I don't even want heaven. Sumantra is also telling the same. But now Rama is telling, see, I know, Sumantra, how loyal you are, how faithful you are to all the kings of, our lineage. And so I understand your affection, I understand your loyalty. But, you please console my father. My father will be grieving over my banishment again and again. There is nobody to console him. Nobody can console him. You are his faithful servant. So you are his faithful charioteer. You alone can do that. So please go back to Ayodhya to console my father. My father has become old and also he has little karma. He is attached to Mother Kaikeyi. And he will ask, you people around to do this and that to satisfy Kaikeyi. So don't say no to him. Don't resist him. Whatever he asks you to do, you do. And he is here in the forest and Rama is thinking about the welfare of his father, Dasharatha, and also other people, how they would be grieving. He would be only reminiscing about me. He would be talking about me. He will be only remembering me again and again. So you please console him. That grief, we don't know where it leads to. Will he be able to bear that grief for a long period of time? So please go back to Ayodhya. Kings think that, so their bidding must happen. Whatever they wish for, that should happen. That's how they want to rule. So don't resist him. Even if the command actually is not agreeable to you, please don't resist him. Do his bidding, follow his command, whatever it may be. Rama actually is requesting Sumantra. So tell this to my father. What is that? As is my word. Tell this to my father. Please ask my father to coronate Bharata. Let him send messengers to Kekaya. Let him bring Bharata to Ayodhya and let him coronate him. And also convey my respects to my mothers. And also we will quickly return. Don't ask my father not to grieve. We will quickly return after completing the exile. Now convey this as my message to Bharata also. Ask him to hold on to righteousness, dharma, and ask him to be equal to all the mothers. He might show more affection to his mother Kaikeyi. Rama knew that actually he was not such a kind of person, but again actually he is telling Sumantra that please ask him to treat all the mothers equally, because Rama had this fear that because once actually her son becomes the king, Mother Kaikeyi, is a headstrong woman, and how she would behave, we don't know, towards her co-wives. That's why already Mother Kausalya is in terrible grief, and over and above, we don't know how she will treat Kausalya, mother. And that's why Rama is telling, please ask my dear brother Bharata, to treat all mothers equally, and let him not make any distinction between my mother Kausalya and Sumitra and Kaikeyi. But the Sumantra actually is adamant. He won't go back. He says, no Rama, see, I will be here only, I will serve you. With you 14 years will go like 14 moments, 14 seconds for me. Without you, these 14 years will run like 100 years in Ayodhya. So I can't bear that torment. I can't bear that time. So please allow me to be with me. And Rama again he says, no, I have a reason why I am asking you to go back to Ayodhya. I have a strong reason, O Sumantra. If you don't go back, Mother Kaikeyi she will be in tense moments. Whether I have gone to the forest or not, how she will come to know? When you go back and report this to her, she will be happy. Yes, my one desire has been fulfilled now. Rama has been banished. Rama has gone to the Dandakavana, to the forest. Otherwise, she will have doubts. And she might even also say to Dasharatha that this king actually only has promised the boons, but actually has not given me the boons. He has not ensured the banishment of Rama. So, saying that, she might even say that my father is an untruthful man. So, I don't want to give any such scope for such saying, such statements from my mother Kaikeyi. So, please go back to Ayodhya. And also, Bharata has to be coronated. Bharata has to be made to sit on the throne. Somebody has to rule it. And this is the second boon of my mother Kaikeyi that has to be fulfilled. Please remind this also to my father Dasharatha and ensure that Bharata is made the king of Ayodhya. This is actually Rama's request for Sumantra, and with great difficulty he could persuade him and send him back to Ayodhya along with the chariot and also the horses. In Ramacharitamanasa they say the horses refused to go back to Ayodhya because Rama was going towards south, and now going to Ayodhya means the horses had to go towards north. So because they have actually Rama has disembarked now, the horses understood that Rama is not there in the chariot. And Sumantra with great difficulty actually he had to drive the chariot, bring the chariot back to Ayodhya. There was a lot of resistance from these horses, but still actually as a charioteer he had to force the horses to make them run towards Ayodhya. That's how actually it all happened. Ramcharitmanas it is there, it's not there in Valmiki Ramayana. Now actually Guha brought a boat to help Rama cross Mother Ganges here. And now Mother Sita, after getting into the boat, she started praying to Mother Ganga. And what she said, So, I will arrange for your worship, O Mother Ganges. Please see that actually we will complete this banishment successfully and return to Ayodhya after 14 years. You actually flow through heaven, earth and netherworld. Heaven, earth and netherworld, Pathala. So, you are such a sacred river, you are verily the form of the Supreme Brahman. I know your power. Please bless my husband. Once we complete successfully this banishment, I will offer 1,000 pitchers of wine and meat as Naivedya to you. So, Mother actually, is a Shakti worship here. In Shakti worship, actually, this is permitted, offering wine and offering meat. Okay, Sri Vaishnavas, they don't agree to it. It's Shakti worship. So, when you say that all this Srishti actually is Mother's form, Shakti, that all my Adya Shakti, Prakruti, Parashakti. So here, Mother Sita is worshipping Mother Ganga as Parashakti's emblem. Parashakti is representative in this physical world. So I will offer wine and I will offer meat to you after we successfully complete our exile. Now Rama actually sends his harm to his mother Kausalya. They crossed the river and then they were sitting under a tree. Rama reminisced. He was thinking about his mother Kausalya, how she would be faring. Her grief actually tormented him here. What my mother must be feeling now. His own suffering is no suffering for him. Forest, no food and where to stay and where to lie down. All these things, of course, have no concern for him. What she would be feeling. There is no son who is more unfortunate than me. No mother should have a son like me, Rama is telling now. No mother should have a son like me. When she needed me most, actually, I got separated from her. What a pathetic situation. And you see, he's telling Lakshmana, you go to Ayodhya. Why? Lakshmana asked. See, you just see our father, because of his inordinate affection for Mother Kaikeyi, we don't know how our mothers will be treated. So, already they are in grief. So, you just go and hand them over to Bharata. So, Rama was not in peace because Bharata has not come back from Kekaya. You go. And after this coronation, you hand our mothers to Bharata, hand them over to Bharata. Bharata is a noble prince. He will take care of the good well. But now actually they are not under the care of Bharata. Formally you hand them over to Bharata and then actually if you want you can come back to forest. So Rama is telling, what surprise Rama is reminiscing. You just see your father's condition. What a pitiable condition he is in. What for? This Kama even conquers Artha. Otherwise, listening to the counsel of a woman, just for the sake of a woman, how our father actually has even forsaken me, an obedient child. I never disobeyed him. I never refused his commands. I never talked against him. Okay, I'm not that bad. I'm such a noble son. My father even forego me just for the sake of, a woman, because he has become a slave of Kama. Idam yasanam alokya rajaschamati vibramam Kama eva artha dharmabhyam gariyaniti me matihi. Among the three, Kama, Dharma and Artha, which is superior, which is more powerful, Gariyaniti. Kama is more powerful. We just see our father's condition. What happened? His wealth actually has forsaken. I am his wealth in fact, right? Rama is his wealth. Dasratha has not considered anything else as such a superior wealth like Rama. But yes, even foregone this wealth also, Rama. And so among the three, Dharma, Artha, Kama, actually Kama is more powerful. What is the proof? Our father is the proof, he says. Artha dharma parityajya kama manuvartate evamapatyate kshipram raja dasrato yatha. Whoever in this world holds on to Kama, giving up Artha. Artha here doesn't mean only money, properties and assets. Artha means here knowledge also. Knowledge actually is the real asset. Knowledge actually is the real wealth in this culture. Bharat actually is the culture where knowledge actually is valued. Knowledge actually is considered as supreme wealth. You have forgotten these ancient values. So whoever gives up Artha means knowledge wealth and also physical wealth and also Dharma for the sake of Kama, for the sake of greed and lust, he will meet with the same fate as our father Dasratha is. He is an example. We can learn a lesson from him. Rama has all affection for his father. But now he is also helpless. He is not able to help him come out of his grief. You just see the power of karma. You just see the power of actions. You just see the power of karma. Rama has told all these things. So now actually he is asking Lakshmana to go back to Ayodhya to see that, actually to hand over the mothers, Mother Kausalya and Sumitra, to Bharata, so that actually they would live well. Bharata would take care of them well. We shall stop here for today. We shall continue with this. So this topic, the same topic, a competition in sacrifice. All these people are in competition, with one another for sacrifice and sacrifice and sacrifice. So through renunciation we will attain immortality. Give up, give up, give up, give up. That is the message that comes to us from this Srimad Ramayana. We shall meditate for 2 minutes before we go for prayer. Om